Welcome to the top 10 comics of the week. I'm your host, GemMint, and you know I got Rockin Robbie Billups.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We're going to be counting down the top 10 comic books of the week, full on spoilers, so be warned. My number 10, Deathstroke Inc. number 1 from DC Comics, written by Josh Williamson with artwork by Howard Porter. I wasn't really looking forward to this one, but I found myself really digging it. Now, Jim, I know that you didn't like it as much, but I'll tell you what I loved about it. First of all, you got Deathstroke trying to go hero again, right? Whatever. Eye roll, right? Then you got him joining this trust organization or something like that. You got Black Canary being a part of it, so you get that dynamic between those two characters that don't really like each other. You got this new version of the Toyman that they introduced, several years ago, but the newer version, which I think works together. And my favorite part is that now Deathstroke has access to all this bat tech, the Batmobiles, the weapons and all this kind of stuff, and he's just having the time of his life with it. I was not looking forward to this, but it felt fun. It felt different. It felt like some interesting ideas that were thrown together, and it's something that I haven't seen before, and it was exhilarating. The artwork by Howard Porter I thought was super strong. I like this book.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling it, man. I was kind of I'm the opposite. I was looking forward to this, but I was let down. I just felt like it was boring. I don't like the Trust organization. It seems like they're going to double cross. They're really bad, and they're going to fool Deathstroke and Black Canary. I'm so sick of the Deathstroke kids. I got enough of that going on in Robin. I just wasn't digging it. If you guys liked it, hit that like button. Or hey, if you didn't like it like me, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel too and hit that notification bell while I jump into my number 10. And I'm talking about Thor 17. Donny Cates Thor. Usually every time it comes out, it's my pick of the week. This one was a little bit lackluster. They kind of made Thor kind of weak in this one. Angela comes down with his mother and basically scolds him that he better start ruling right or she's going to kick his ass. Didn't really like that. And Thor, I didn't like the artwork either. His ponytail looked super whack. I don't know why this is on the top 10, I guess. It was actually... The thing was, it was hard for me to come up with my 9 and 10. Thor barely made it because I like the story. I like the world. I usually love this series. I'm trying to even think of what else happened in this issue. Yeah, I guess nothing really happened and didn't really push the story, further along. And what's crazy is this run is known for big, epic storytelling, for being a Galactus herald to fighting the Black Winter, and now you're getting scolded by your mom and sister.
I actually like this issue better than the last two, but it just still didn't quite get over that hump for me. I really like those first few stories like you were talking about. It just feels like it's slowed down, significantly, and it's just kind of filler. For my number 9, I'm going Batman Reptilian number 4. Yo, this was my favorite issue of this series yet. I have criticized Liam Sharp's artwork for being a bit too dark, murky, unclear, but I still love his artwork. I could look at this, especially when I put the studio lights on. It looks amazing, so everybody should read it in a really high light situation. But what they did in this issue, where they revealed where this new reptilian creature comes from, and it's the child of Killer Croc, and that Batman's kind of enjoying, telling Killer Croc this, and Killer Croc's just like, what? Anyway, I really, really like this book. It's dark, it's out there, it's a wild idea that makes some kind of biological sense. It's got some amazing artwork if you can actually see it, and overall, I thought it was super solid, and I'm really excited that they're doing something like this, because they could never do this in the mainstream Bat book.
Yo, Batman Reptilian was crazy as hell. It's kind of like this mystery book for 3 issues, and then bam, Garth Ennis drops the biggest bomb. I could have never seen it. Nobody in their right mind would have ever seen this coming. It's crazy. I could see diehard fans of Killer Croc being pissed off. This is higher on my list. I'll give more thoughts on that when we get there. Moving on to my number 9, Amazing Spider-Man 74. Robbie, you almost gave it pick of the week. I really did enjoy it. You wrapped up this long, tedious run. He kind of retconned some things. At least Norman Osborn never had 2 kids with Gwen Stacy. But the retcon that those kids were actually clones and Harry's a clone and that's why they were both kindred and all of a sudden we had 2 kindreds. It was weird, but I did like the action. I did like kind of explaining everything that was being built up, and however lame and boring it was, at least we got the explanation and now it's over. What I want to know is who the hell did Ben Reilly get out of jail in that backup story?
Yeah, I did almost give this my pick of the week just because I'm so thankful that the Nick Spencer run is over. It's done. It's never happening again, and I'm really, really excited for that. Who that woman is, I think she's someone from back in the Clone Saga days, but Who remembers all of that muddy mess, right? And I do want to know, who is the guy consistently in the Spidey office at Marvel who goes, let's bring up clones again. People really like that. I'm just glad this run is over. Excited for a little bit of a fresh start and then what's eventually going to happen after that. For my number 8, I'm going Berserker. Number 5, I absolutely loved this book. This has been a fun book, brutal. Right? And the brutality in this one is more of an emotional nature, right? So this is the story of this immortal Keanu Reeves, and he's kind of like Wolverine, but a lot different at the same time. And now we're getting into the second story arc. In the first one, we focused on his mom and his dad, his familial upbringing, and now we're dealing with like the romance aspect of it, his relationships, his loved ones. And he finds out that he can't really... Obviously, he's an immortal. We've seen this trope before where if you fall in love, say you get married, your partner will eventually die while you stay young and fresh. That's not necessarily it. He can't bear children. So all of these miscarriages, all of these dead babies that are just falling away, like the emotional weight of that was really impactful for me. At the same time, it was keeping a lot of that gore that's inherent to the story and also moving the story forward about his psychologist and what the ulterior motive she has. I thought it was a super solid issue.
Loved Berserker, way up on my list. Almost gave it pick of the week, so let me save some thoughts for there. My number 8, Extreme Carnage Omega, the part 8 of 8 series. I dug it. I loved how they snuck in the sleeper symbiote there to Hank, which was Flash Thompson's buddy, who doesn't know he's the host of his symbiote right now. That's kind of messed up, but still, I like that. I kind of like how he took out, was it Riot, I believe? I like the end result, that big symbiote showdown, Carnage with his plot and the Friends of Humanity to assassinate the leader, to make him a martyr, and kind of leaving it open where they can take Carnage somewhere else later on down the line. So it was a cool symbiote book without Venom. I mean, we had Agent Anti-Venom, but I liked it. We got the Silence character now. Life's Foundation symbiotes kind of got some shine, although I guess one might be dead now. I don't know, but I dug this whole series. A nice, fun little 8-part miniseries.
Yeah, I really like the part where they take off Riot's head. That was pretty cool. My favorite thing about this entire series has been the focus in on Agony towards the end of it. I thought that was actually really interesting, and they finally did something with that symbiote and that character that's exciting, because for the most part, she's been the one that's kind of like, you know, the one that you don't really remember from the Life Foundation, right? Overall, this wasn't necessarily super for me. I think it could have been better as just a 6-issue series without all the one-shots. I feel like it kind of padded it and filled it up a little too much, but overall, pretty solid, especially for symbiote fans. That's what I'll say. My number 7, I'm going Department of Truth, number 13. I love this book. And would it surprise you if I told you this is another book with just a bunch of exposition? No, because that's what every issue is. It's literally just James Tynion through the characters telling us what's going on, telling us the true nature of the world. It digs into like ceremonial magic and sigils and the nature of reality. It digs into thought forms. It digs into all these other conspiracies. Like it does dig into Bigfoot and aliens, but this one, like that satanic panic, I really like it. I thought it was a great turning point where Hawk starts telling Cole exactly what's up. He's kind of playing both sides. And there's a lot of craziness about which Lee Harvey Oswald this was, because there's 2, 3, who knows how many of them. This book really scratches that teen dog shady itch that I get pretty much every single day. So I have a lot of fun with it. I love the artwork. It's visceral. It's edgy. It will cut you just reading this book. And the lettering, some of the best out there. Super solid book, man.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being my number 7 too. And what I liked about this book, even though it was exposition heavy, which really they all are, whether you're reading it from the narration point of view or like dirty journal notes from somebody's grandchild or grandfather, but it moved the overall story further. This villain, this demon with the red star on his face, and kind of where we're going with that, and captured it at the end. It almost turned into something as killing the children at the end there, putting him through a trial, Cole, to take out his monster that he created, and now they're making it real. Didn't you get Men in Black vibes? Like, this is J and K.
Yeah, it totally got some Men in Black vibes, but in a really twisted variety, right?
Yeah, man, for sure. And my number 6, I went with Superman 78 issue 2. What a refreshing book. It looks and feels like the movies. It has that innocence to it, the art style. The characters act like how they acted in the movies, and it's like a true trilogy, right? This is like the third movie that should have been. Not, we don't count Superman 3 and 4, but I really like the Brainiac kind of twist, which makes sense. He comes there and he's like, yo, you guys are harboring a Kryptonian. I'm here to clear his ass out to preserve humans. That made a lot of sense. The Lex Luthor thing threw me off with the wig thing, and I watched the Richard Donner stuff a couple times, but I guess he had a wig. Anyway, I really dug it. I really liked how Brainiac wasn't just like a stereotypical bad guy. He was really there to help the humans in his own mind. I don't know. I just really dug the issue. So much better than Batman 89. I'm really digging the Superman stuff, and I'm more of a fan of the Batman movies.
The thing is, Superman 78 feels like it's a part of that world, whereas Batman 89 does not. It feels something like it feels contemporary in what it's trying to do thematically. It doesn't kind of artistically match up the Tim Burton film, so that one's really weird. This one nails everything. I didn't like it as much as the first issue. It's mostly because I didn't really like some of the Luthor bits here. Like, they let him out of prison. He's just going through a regular job hunt, and he's like, I'm the greatest criminal ever. Why, give me a job. And then Superman's like, oh, I want your help with this Brainiac head. There's some different ways I would have done that. And yeah, back in the day, Gene Hackman would not shave his head, so they just pretended that he wore a wig. Why not, right? But Superman 78's been a breath of fresh air over at DC right now, especially compared to Batman 89. For my number 6, I'm going Beckstar number 5 from Mad Cave Studios, written by my good friend Joe Corallo. This is an amazing book. It's kind of like Indiana Jones meets Cowboy Bebop. It's got that adventure quest, hunting down relics of power. At the same time, it's set in space. It's got these snarky characters, these different characters from different worlds that have to come together as a family. A great quest that reaches its ultimate conclusion here, and a book that's been pretty fun and breakneck paced already. This ending had everything. It had those emotional beats. It had the big boisterous artwork, the colors, everything about it, and it sets up for a potential sequel. We gotta get the sequel, y'all. Read Beckstar. It's amazing.
Yeah, this one just wasn't on my radar. Not reading it, kind of sorry that I'm not. My number 5 is Batman Reptilian 4, and man, yeah, this was just such a mind-blowing issue. First of all, I've been digging the hell out of Liam Sharp's abstract painting. It's a little bit muddy, but it makes sense, especially this book's taking place in the sewers, and Batman's dropping bombs on Killer Croc. Like, dude, I know who the villain is. You messed around and changed your sex and had an offspring. And Waylon is like, what? I did what? I did that? Yeah, man, your pheromones went off in the meeting, and that's why it drove everybody crazy, and you didn't remember having the kid. And we see this offspring, and it's nightmare fuel. This was a crazy book because I thought they were going to build this up, and it was going to be someone we knew. But Garth Ennis went to left field as only Garth Ennis can. And it really blew me away. And I felt myself after reading it like, what the hell did I just read? But it was enjoyable, and I dug it, and he took a big risk, and that's why I said maybe diehard Killer Croc fans will be upset, but this isn't canon. It's DC Black Label. Who cares?
It's all canon, Jim. We're in the Omniverse, okay? Come on. It's all canon. No, I love it, too. Killer Croc was like that meme of that dog that's like, or is that a sock puppet monkey? I don't know. Whatever it is, it looks awesome, and it's kind of what that reminded me of. That was a great book. My number 5, I'm going Batman, Superman, issue number 22. Bro, I thought this series was over. This is the last issue. So I thought the last issue was 2 issues ago. Then there was another issue. Then there was an annual. And then this popped up, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This book's still going? Oh, this is the last issue. And it was the best one. I loved this comic book. So it's a Calendar Man and a Mixes-Pitalik story, right? So Calendar Man dies on A-Day, and Mixie shows up and gives him like his derby hat and these powers where he can see through time and out of space, kind of like Mixie can, right? He's in the 5th dimension. He's peeled outside of us, and he's a couple dimensions outside, right? So this was really wild, because now Calendar Man can look across the comic book page and see what's going to happen in the future. So he punches down, and everybody's like, Batman's like, you missed me. But then in the next panel down, he's punching Batman. It's so meta, so quirky, so weird, so Silver Age, so Grant Morrison. I loved it. It's the last issue of this series by Gene Luen Yang, and of course, just the last issue overall. I freaking loved it, had a lot of fun with it, and if more of these issues would have been nice one-and-done shots like this with a really cool punch, this series could have gone a little bit longer. That being said, I thought this was a fantastic finale.
Cheap Graphic Novels is your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They pride themselves on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. CGN is excited to announce that they're now taking pre-orders. They're making it easier for you to ensure that you don't miss out on the hottest releases. Cheap Graphic Novels is currently running a special promotion for the Geminites. If you're a first-time customer, let them know that you were referred by Mint Collectibles at checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. This promotion is only valid for the United States. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts and quality shipping and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. Yeah, I thought we were done with it, so guess what? I was done with it. I'm done with Batman, Superman. I'm reading enough Batman books, enough Superman books. I was like, you know what? I don't even care. I didn't know if it was going to keep going after that. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to be done with it, so I'm still glad that I did. My number 4, I went with Spawn 322. How the hell? Spawn is creeping up higher and higher on my list every week. It's been mind-blowing. Now, in Robbie's review, you said Spawn was torturing this poor vampire. This poor vampire has been holding a teenage girl captive for 4 years, impregnated her. She had a kid, abuses her daily, and Spawn tried to give him back what he gave her over 4 years in 4 minutes. Again, more nightmare fuel. Put him through a gauntlet of spikes, back and forth, bugs chasing him, dogs chasing him. This was brutal, but it's like the guy deserved it, so you're for it. You're like, yes, man, get that bastard. Spawn, and I like Spawn switching costumes on us. From spiky Spawn, he went to classic Spawn later on when he put his spikes on the walls. I don't know, man. They've been upping the stakes. Like, we've both been saying that. He's a kid killer now in King Spawn. He's torturing these abusers and abductors now. It's been crazy, man.
Oh, that was a little misunderstanding. When I said a poor vampire, I meant that he can't keep a job down. He's on food stamps. He can't really, make ends meet. And, it's just really rough for him. Now, this book was really wild. I liked it. It was just a straight up torture scene, right? And then especially with what happened in King Spawn last week, as the Spawn universe is expanding, Al is getting crazier and crazier. And we have seen plenty of crazy stuff from Al in his world. But Spawn is awesome. And I'll say it again, $2.99. Cardstock cover. Marvel, DC, crickets. You hear that? That's crickets. For my number 4, I'm going Inferno, number 1. The book we've all been waiting for, but it's bittersweet to me because this is the last hurrah of Hickman on the X-Men. Now, we have been completely bamboozled when it comes to Hickman's X-Men. We were promised this big epic run, and apparently at some point last year, Hickman's like, all right, we're ready to move into Act 2, and everybody at Marvel's like, nah, we're cool. We're making some money. We're just going to sit here and smoke cigars and drink fancy brandies and all that kind of stuff. What? What about what the fans want? We want this story. We invested in House of X and Powers of 10. We want this. This issue was awesome. We get back to that Moira stuff. We get to the Destiny and the Mystique stuff, and they're twisting things around. We thought Inferno was going to be all about Mystique burning Krakoa down because they wouldn't resurrect Destiny. Turns out someone did resurrect Destiny, and Moira is not happy. Moira's the threat in this one, and Charles and Eric acting dumb, just so dumb throughout all of this. You got this woman who's lived all these lives, who knows all this information, but you still think that you can know better than her. They don't learn from her lives, right? And I think it's Emma that resurrected Destiny. But all that being said, it's bittersweet because this should be a bridge to the next level of where Hickman was taking this franchise. That's not going to happen now. And no matter how much they tell us that they're going to follow the plan and get to it, like I said in my video, when the main chef gets fired or leaves the kitchen, all the other cooks start changing the recipes. That's what's going to happen. So it's bittersweet. This should have happened a year ago, and it should be a bridge and not an ending. If it was that, it'd probably be higher on my list. I like the book, but I really hate what Marvel's doing with the X-Men.
Yeah, I love this. This is actually my number 3, and it's 100% a continuation from Hoxpox, from X-Men 20, and now this. And yeah, I was worried that it was going to be a reboot of the Inferno storyline from the 80s. So glad it wasn't. I know a lot of people love that storyline, but I'm not really here for it. Yeah, when Destiny shows up at the end strutting to the council meeting, I was like, oh shit. She and Mystique killed Moira in her third life, in an Inferno, if you will, right? So it was so crazy to see her back. That's the only person that really knows how to kill Moira McTaggart, and we get that death that was always left hanging unexplained from Hoxpox. If you guys remember, they showed us all the deaths but one, and then we got it in here. We got Nimrod's in this one. Super cool stuff, man. Hickman's X-Men is dope. It sucks that he let everyone else take over his vision, and really reading Hoxpox, X-Men 20, and Inferno 1 is all you really need from this whole Mutants reboot.
Oh, absolutely. Moving on to number 3, Echolands, number 2 from Image Comics. This is by J.H. Williams III. I can't even remember who the writer is, because that doesn't really matter. It's the artwork that sells this. The story's decent enough. It's kind of like Little Red Riding Hood, I guess. It's basically this woman in a red hood who has stolen a gem. She's stolen it from this powerful person, and she's got this group of people, and they're running from them. That's all we've gotten out of 2 issues. Very thin on the story. But the artwork is amazing. This is something that rivals anything you've seen in Sandman or Swamp Thing. Like, if you think of anything with like beautiful, well-composed, different, innovative, organic-looking, floral-looking at times, the layouts in this book, it's amazing. Like, this is some of the best comic book artwork out there, from the line work, the composition, the layouts, all the way down to the coloring and the lettering. Because you got Todd Klein on the lettering, you got Dave Stewart on the coloring. I mean, that's like, it's the best of the best. I just wish the story was a little bit stronger. But I'll tell you what, Jim, my shop was shorted, so I had to read some digital copies. Well, this book sucks to read digitally. It really does, man. You gotta have this physical artifact in front of you because it's horizontal, it's panoramic, it opens up like this. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's the thinnest story out there, but it is one of the most intricately rendered comic books I have ever read, and it's more than just a gimmick. It really, really fits the format. This book is just beautiful.
So I can't bring myself to put this on the top 10 because I don't know what the hell's going on. And you're right, the artwork is mind-blowing. It's Promethea on crack. Well, I guess on steroids. Let's say it on steroids. But I read it digitally. Maybe that's why it's hard for me to follow the story. I'm constantly trying to like move across digitally and read it. So, yeah, I don't know. The artwork is great. And Robbie and I figured out that I went 2 books in a row somehow. I don't know. We've been jacking up this list. I'm on number 2. I'm on Berserker 5. Absolutely love this. I'm so glad they showed more depth in this story, because now it really has room to breathe. It didn't have to be gory and bloody. It didn't have to be barbaric, right? So, like the comic barbaric. They showed Keanu Reeves, Unut. How do you say his name? Unut. Taking on lovers throughout life and watching them grow old, and this cycle of like loss, and him trying to have kids, not able to have kids. His explanation of music, I thought was amazing. It really touched me, man. Like how music, it always changes, but it's the same at its essence. It gets people, it gets human beings, it gets the people going, basically. I dug it. I really like this series. I hope it lasts for a long time, and now Robbie's going to say it ends at issue 6.
It ends at issue 12. So, but there you go. And I don't know how you say his name either. For some reason, I always go Unuate for some reason, and I know that is totally not it. And yeah, I love this book too. It probably would have been a bit higher on my list, but I love some gnarly stuff, Red Room, all these horror films, but maybe just too many dead babies for me in this one. My number 2, though, speaking of dead babies, is Something is Killing the Children, number 20. I love this book. This is the end of the whole origin of Erica Slaughter, and even though we know Erica gets through this trial and will be okay, it's amazing to me how much I care about that journey, how much I'm worried for her, even though I know it's going to turn out okay. They're shedding more lights on other characters, on the entire organization, and I really, really like that. So you're doing some world building as well as showing us where Erica come from, what she had to go through to become who she is today. Man, I love this book. It always maintains its consistent status as being one of the best books of the week whenever it's out. It's just one of the best comics. Something is Killing the Children. This book slaps. What?
Yeah, man, it's my number 1. It's my pick of the week. And the second arc is stronger than the first arc. I feel like it's rare to see that. I really like how they're talking about Erica. Is she going to be okay? Is she going to make it? And then they turn around and she's just like, oh, hey. Like, she did it, man. And I like how she's trying to explain to the head of Slaughter how she knew that this monster was playing a trick on her. But he's like, no, you didn't know that. You're a monster. And she's a little girl, man, so she gets upset about it. But he's telling her, like, it takes a monster to kill a monster. I don't know. It was so much emotional stuff going on here, which is really what makes for good comics, apparently, for me and Robbie. Because anytime there's some emotional aspect, we just eat it up. But The pacing is amazing. The artwork is fluid. It gets better and better with each issue. Now we have this Enter the House of Slaughter thing. Yo, sign me up.
Yeah, the book is amazing, and apparently everybody else said sign me up too, because this is making some huge numbers for issue number 1. Speaking of number 1, my number 1 is Human Remains, number 1 from Vault Comics. It's written by Peter Milligan, who had another book out this week that me and Jim both like. It just maybe an honorable mention for the top 10, but it was Out of Body. That was really solid. So this is Human Remains, and what it is it's a world in which humanity cannot show any emotion, because if they do, these like crazy bone monsters come and just tear them the apart. Like seriously, like gory, just nasty, ripping them apart. Like that's wild. So they basically feed off emotion. So now humanity has to live in these really strict roles, like no love, no happiness, no sadness, no anger. Can you imagine what that's like? And they're dealing with a world where some people don't believe it, so they go out there and party anyway. Like all these hippies are doing their love fest. All these people are protesting out here. They all get torn up and just gotten, man. Like I love this book. It had a really nice, interesting like artwork style to it by I think it's Sally Cantorino or something like that, Deborah Kelly on the coloring. I really like the artwork. I think it fit the story. We're going to get more into it, but just laying out the concept. Peter Milligan has been doing this stuff for a long time. He is a veteran in this industry. When Neil Gaiman, when Grant Morrison, Warren Ellis, Garth Ennis, when all these writers were coming up in that British invasion, he was a part of that. And sometimes he gets overlooked, and he's doing some really slam bang work right now. And Human Remains is definitely worth your time. Cool concept, an introduction of some interesting enough characters, but just the whole package was executed superbly well.
Yeah, I'm reading Out of Body. I'm digging that. I got to start hitting a vault for these PDFs, man. I don't think my shop carries these, but I missed out on that one. But that's the top 10 for the week. Let us know what your favorite comics were in the comments down below. We do have a giveaway going on for our next subscriber milestone of 150K. We're giving away the Deja Thor's premium format statue by Sideshow. And all you got to do is be subscribed, leave a like, and comment below. Once we reach the milestone, we'll go live, pick a random video where I promoted the giveaway, and use a random YouTube comment generator to draw a worldwide winner. Rockin Robbie, let them know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Well, you can find us over at Pop Culture Philosophers. We do comic book reviews, movie reviews, live shows, all that stuff, creator interviews and conversations. But most importantly, I want to spotlight right now PCP Movie Night every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. Me and the crew, we hang out, we watch movies, and we talk about them. And now we're in the middle of Horror Fest, and we got some great picks. So thanks, everybody. Station.